I think that is a very astute observation. That is something I have noticed for a while. Yeah, individualism is genuinely a bad thing, and that is something that's kind of instilled into Americans. Like, yeah, I can do it all by myself. Independence, freedom. Yeah,
All
I'm my
about the
own man.
consumer, you know.
My freedom. Yeah, and freedom means kind of like isolation in much sense because I don't want to get too into this, but we'll just try to keep this broad.
Yes.
But yes, yeah, don't be an individual. Find a nice little group of whatever it is. If it's people that
Yeah.
you can do music with, or people that you can play tennis with, or softball. Yeah, don't be an individual. It's we aren't really meant to be alone, and as technology has advanced, it's essentially created conditions for people to be not so much independent but isolated. Where before you would need two three people to get things done or to do whatever. Now you can do it all on your own because technology's made it easier to do whatever. Yeah, you like even mundane things like playing video games. Used to bring some people over and we're gonna play Mario Party. Now you just do it all online.
Or the Xbox Link, you know, you could link 4 Xboxes together back in the day
Yeah, you play
in 4
Time
different rooms. That was
Splitters
cool.
or Halo. That was
Yes.
awesome. You have Halo
Oh yeah.
parties, dude. That was
Halo was
that was
cool.
good. That was good stuff. But now everything is all online, and people have gotten used to this. Like
We've gotten
relation.
detached,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
yeah, relationships are down. Like families
Hmm.
are there's schisms within families. Friend groups are low. Find a group like whatever you're into. Like maybe you play Pokemon or like something weird. Maybe you're into crocheting. You can find people that do that, and you can be friends with them. Just find whatever your thing is. A lot of people, if you're listening, it's probably music. Like if that's your thing, you can find people to talk about music with or get involved with your local book club. Something in your neighborhood. Make friends with people. Obviously, don't go into dangerous places and try to meet friends. You can find groups online. Like if you're on Facebook, you got your local thing, whatever it is. Like, yeah, I don't know, whatever your area is. There's probably people saying, anyone do this, and hey, I'll do that. Jump in. Don't be afraid. Branch out. Meet people. Talk to them. Don't be an
Yeah, I'd say
individual.
find something bigger than yourself to get involved in. You can be selfish or selfless, but you can't be both. And humility is to consider others more important than yourself. And I feel like we have no humility anymore. Like no one. We are so off. Like especially with these celebrities, everyone, like all these millionaires, billionaires, are telling us how all these burdens they got to go through, and it's
Well,
just
yeah, well,
like they're just rubbing it
foreshadowing.
in our faces. A little foreshadowing there. Yes, yes, you caught me.
I know how you set the
But
stage.
yes, yes, but so this article about Bad Bunny, and I thought this, I really don't. It's hard to know like who this is because all these names are like so familiar. There's like, but I
Well,
get Bad Bunny. He talks.
before
Okay,
we go into this, let's set the
okay,
stage. So I found
let's
this.
set it.
So, do you know who this guy is?
I believe he performed at like the Super Bowl one year, like
Okay,
recently.
okay. Well,
I think.
maybe within the last 2 3 years. It doesn't matter.
And he was,
Within that window.
yeah.
Well, that's your favorite reference. I had no idea who this guy is. Now, I heard this guy's name some years ago, where they said that they were going to make like a Spider-Man movie, and he was going to be the star. And it's a guy I've never heard of. One, his name is Bad Bunny, so clearly this isn't a movie star. and he was playing some character that named like El Muerte or something, a character I never heard of. So my thought was, before I get to my thought, do you remember the movie Steel from the 90s?
Wasn't Shaq in Steel?
Yes. Okay. So you do remember that.
Yeah.
So that was Steel was a character. It was a Superman character, not even B-list, like C-list. And Shaq was just a huge star. He was a sports star, but he was a huge star at the time. And Shaq is, he's a, goofy, charismatic guy. So they thought, okay, this will be a good vehicle for him to be in a movie. This is the same thing that I see with this guy. I don't know who this guy is, and it's a character I've never heard of, but they're going to make a movie, a big budget movie around him. So clearly he is somebody. And
is that in the works?
I don't know. This was announced like 2 years ago or something, a year or two ago. I don't remember. Yeah. So this was like a recent announcement. And this is another one of those cases of where you have an artist that is nowhere and then all of a sudden they're everywhere.
Nobody self-made.
Yeah, yep. Every single one of them is self-made.
It's unbelievable. I wonder, we could look into it to see who this guy is connected to, because Lizzo had Prince prop her up.
Well, let's be fair. Lizzo didn't have Prince prop her up because you don't just meet Prince.
Okay, that's fair.
Like especially Prince. Prince is a weird guy. Now, before we get back to Bad Bunny, do you know about Kevin Smith's Prince documentary?
I do not. Kevin Smith, and Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
And yeah.
So
comics and all that.
Yes. So the story goes, as per Kevin Smith, I don't think Kevin Smith is lying. This would be a weird thing to lie about. But supposedly Prince hired Kevin Smith to make a documentary about Prince.
Okay.
And Kevin Smith finishes it and he shows it to Prince. And then he says, like, when is this coming out? And Prince says, no, this was just for me to make, or just for me to watch.
For him.
Yeah. So,
that's awesome.
And that's the thing about Prince. Prince is a very, well, not anymore. He's no longer with us, but Prince was a very eccentric and very bizarre personality. So it's not like Lizzo happened to walk into Prince while she went to the grocery store to buy some fruit pies. No, someone introduced her to Prince. And this is a pattern that if we do some digging, we're probably going to find something with all of these people. Because like with Rihanna, where for some reason, Rihanna, she happens to meet this big producer in Trinidad, even though she has no songs and her group doesn't even have a name. So this guy, Bad Bunny, he's been around, well, probably not like 20 years. Maybe he's been around for 5 years. But they're just giving him a movie deal. And it's not like he's playing a minor character, because that was a thing that they used to do. They would, like Alex Karras, he played the guy in Blazing Saddles. He just played the big dude, or like John Matuzak, he played Sloth in The Goonies. No, this guy, he gets his starring role playing a character nobody's heard of. So we got a rapper that's all big enough to headline his own movie, playing a character no one's heard of. So they figure that he is big enough to sell this character. So apparently this guy is and he's performing at the Super Bowl. The same thing where you have Maroon 5 and Eminem and Prince, and Paul McCartney, you don't just like perform at the Super Bowl either. Like big names perform at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So for this guy who I've never heard of is apparently huge. So go on.
Well, yeah, and that article you pulled up, it's entitled "Bad Bunny Talks Feeling, quote, Rejected as a Latino, quote, obvious that racism, colorism exists, end quote. And this is this is June 21st, 2023. So this is 3 days ago. This is not old news.
At the time of recording. Yeah. This isn't something that we dug up from 10 years ago when it turns out this guy was just a struggling artist looking for his chance.
No, and apparently he sat down with Rolling Stone of all.
Can we call up Rolling Stone and get a sit down with them?
Oh yeah, well, that shouldn't be too hard, right?
Well, this guy can. I mean, and he's rejected as a Latino because racism and colorism exist. Now, when you got a guy like this saying that he feels rejected as a Latino, like, one, you had a movie deal. Now, let's say, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you racism doesn't exist. Of course it does. Yeah, of course it happens. Of course people judge people based on whatever
superficial
whatever it is,
characteristic that you can't change.
Of course
there is evil in the world.
That does happen. But this guy telling me he feels rejected as a Latino when he gets to perform at the Super Bowl, he gets to be in a major motion picture, that they're thinking this guy's big enough that he can carry it, and he feels that racism and colorism exist. This is like me telling you that I'm upset that I didn't get to go to my neighbor's birthday party. You wouldn't hear that and say, "Oh, dude, you didn't." You would say, "I don't care. I don't know who your neighbor is. I don't care. That's not a big deal." Other things like this guy, you feel rejected as a Latino, but you're on top of the world. Like, what do you think this guy's net worth is?